Hey, welcome to Planetterrian Daily, episode 50 for April 25th, 2026. Let's see what the latest research is telling us. Higher education levels strongly predict longer lifespans across global populations, even where health records are incomplete. A major international study from the University of Manchester used a new statistical method to analyze global data. They found that more years of education consistently correlate with increased longevity. This holds even in regions with patchy official records. The approach fills gaps in incomplete national health and education records. It allows robust comparisons across dozens of countries with very different data infrastructures. Their analysis shows a clear, consistent gradient where each additional year of schooling is associated with measurably longer life expectancy. This relationship appears independent of many other socioeconomic factors. It holds in both high-income nations with excellent records and lower resource settings where vital statistics are patchy. The finding positions education as one of the most reliable upstream levers for health span at the population level. Future work is expected to clarify the exact biological and behavioral pathways, such as improved health literacy, better jobs, reduced chronic stress, or effects on cognitive reserve. While education shapes long-term health from the outside, a new study shows something invisible from our modern environment is now reaching the most protected organ inside us. Researchers examined mouse brains after controlled microplastic exposure in the lab. They confirmed the particles reached brain tissue. Once there, the particles trigger measurable inflammatory responses within weeks. The work challenges previous assumptions about the blood-brain barrier's impermeability to these ubiquitous pollutants. Most of us picture microplastics as an ocean or gut problem, tiny beads and fibers that marine life or our digestive tract might encounter. But surely the blood-brain barrier keeps them out of our most protected organ. That intuition is wrong. Right now, as you listen, particles small enough to hitch a ride on immune cells or slip through compromised junctions can and do cross into brain tissue, exactly as the controlled mouse study demonstrated. Once inside, they trigger inflammatory signaling cascades that researchers can measure within weeks of exposure. The particles were detectable in brain regions after only short-term laboratory dosing. This shows the barrier is more permeable to these pollutants than previously modeled. The next time you reach for single-use plastics or synthetic fabrics that shed fibers in the wash, remember those fragments are small enough to become airborne or enter water supplies, and eventually reach neural tissue. This knowledge reframes everyday consumption choices as direct inputs into long-term brain health. Pay attention to future studies that track human brain autopsy data or cerebrospinal fluid markers. Those will tell us how quickly the burden accumulates in real populations, and whether certain diets or exercise patterns can help clear or mitigate the inflammatory load. From microscopic pollutants affecting neural tissue here on Earth, let's shift scale dramatically to the highest energy neutrino ever detected. Scientists have recorded what appears to be the most energetic neutrino ever observed. Its characteristics suggest it could originate from the early universe rather than known astrophysical sources. The detection was achieved through specialized deep ice or underwater observatories. This opens new ways to probe cosmic history using these nearly massless, uncharged particles. It may carry messages from the very first moments of the universe. Detecting these elusive particles just got clearer thanks to a new prototype detector that can essentially take pictures of neutrino interactions. Physicists tested the first working prototype of a new elementary particle detector. It combines existing technologies in a novel configuration to image neutrino interactions directly. The approach promises better sensitivity and spatial resolution than previous methods. This is for studying weakly interacting particles like neutrinos. It also has potential applications for certain dark matter candidates. Staying with breakthroughs that restore lost function, a gene therapy has just been approved that gave hearing to a child born completely deaf. Regeneron received regulatory approval for a groundbreaking gene therapy. It restored hearing in a child born completely unable to hear. The treatment allowed personality and communication abilities to emerge. The case marks a concrete advance in genetic medicines for sensory disorders long considered untreatable. While that therapy restores one sensory pathway, a very different kind of intervention is showing promise in restoring movement for people with stiff person syndrome. Kyverna Therapeutics published complete results from its registrational trial of MIV-cell. This is a CAR-T therapy for patients with stiff person syndrome. The data positions the treatment as a potential first approved CAR T for any autoimmune condition. Stiff person syndrome is a rare and severely debilitating neurological disorder. The full data set now available helps clarify how this approach works in a condition with few existing options, shifting from therapeutic intervention to everyday environments that shape development. New research reframes how we think about children and video games. A new paper in Reading Research Quarterly treats digital play as a complex, embodied literacy practice. It shows measurable cognitive and social benefits when properly understood. The researchers urge parents and educators to move beyond default concerns about screen time and sedentary behavior. Instead, they call for recognizing these gains in child development. The work adds nuance to conversations about how children engage with technology in daily life. Today's discoveries remind us that longevity signals hide in education data, environmental pollutants reach deeper than we thought, and fundamental particles still carry secrets from the universe's first moments. Stay curious. Before we go, keep an eye on how education's link to longevity might influence public health policies in the coming months, as more countries examine their own incomplete records through this new statistical lens. That's Planetterrian Daily for today. If you enjoyed this, a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify really helps new listeners find the show. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow. This podcast is curated by Patrick, but generated using AI voice synthesis of my voice using ElevenLabs. The primary reason to do this is I unfortunately don't have the time to be consistent with generating all the content and wanted to focus on creating consistent and regular episodes for all the themes that I enjoy, and I hope others do as well.